Hey, welcome to Speak of the Devil podcast. This is Doyle.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 25 of the Speak of the Devil podcast. This is what, you know what? I think we're going to call this the Crown Jewel, episode 25.
Ooh,
it's very appropriate.
so
We're going to
original.
call it episode 25, Crown Jewel of the Speak of the Devil podcast, which you will understand by the end. But first, we are going to jump into normal categories. We are going to go into music first. And the first item of business we have is All That Remains.
A few weeks ago, there was a unexpected death in the music industry.
Yeah.
Ollie Herbert, one of the last remaining original members of All That Remains. It was him and Phil Labonte. He's been in the band since 1998. And I actually got to catch them in concert. It was 2007, 2008. They were on tour with Bullet for My Valentine. I was at the, you remember that it was like Gators at one point, over by UT. And funny little story is my buddy and I went to that concert. All That Remains opened up, and they killed it. You know, I think The Calling, Air That I Breathe, those songs just kind of hit at the time, and you know, we were huge fans of them back during high school and all that. And so they finished their set, and then Bullet for My Valentine, you know, the headliner started, and they kind of sucked, to be honest with you. You know,
In comparison,
like it was kind of like, man, these guys aren't that good. So
yeah.
there used to be a bar. We back in high school, it was like the cool thing to go there so you could smoke there. They had the hookahs, so that was like, and we walk in, and immediately it was Ollie Herbert and the other guitar player who I don't remember, just sitting there, and you know, us being fanboys, you know, it was kind of like that scene in Wayne's World. I was like, hey, you guys are in that band All That Remains, aren't you? You know, it was exactly like that. They just kind of looked at us, and then it was like the Alice Cooper part. No, man, stick around. Come on, sit down.
Let's hang out with us.
Let's hang out. We're like, hang out with you?
We'll hang out with yous.
I want to party with you. You know? So we sat down, and I mean, we literally talked to them for about an hour, you know, talking about, because Ozfest was still touring at the time.
Yeah, I wish they still had
You know,
that.
they talked about, you know, if you can muscle it, always do a van. The tour bus is nice, but it's a big chunk of change. Just life on the road, like just talking, you know, the questions you want to know about, you know, growing up, wanting to tour the world. And, you know, any guy will tell you that's done it like these guys, you know, it's not all. You guys get to see 45 minutes to an hour of our day. Yeah. And the rest is waiting around, driving.
Well, that's what that's what a lot of bands say is you don't get paid to play, you get paid to travel.
Pretty much. I mean,
you know, because the playing is the fun part. The travel is
absolutely. I mean, I'd still want I'd still want it as my job, but
yeah. If we could travel, believe me, I got a lot of Xbox and movies that we could catch up on in the downtime. We'd be very well suited for the road. Please, Universal, Republic Records, Warner Brothers, anybody.
So
we will lend our services.
So yeah, we just wanted to start with that because you know, All That Remains is a huge band growing up, and it's always sad to hear. I mean, it just seems like we're losing, you know, names left and right. You know, we've had
Jinx.
Yeah, right.
Gotcha.
It's almost like we finish each other's sentences.
Or I don't think we finish each other's. You're supposed to say sentences.
Sentences. You lost me. But but it just over the past few years, I mean, Wayne Static, we have both.
Gosh, I know.
Both Abbott brothers are gone. Half of Pantera is gone. You had Paul Gray, Slipknot. Like, I was just sitting there thinking of these bands, and like, all these bands that we grew up listening to, someone's pretty much died.
Yeah, there's not too many guitar heroes left.
No, you think about it. Like Pantera or Damage Plan or Hell Yeah, however you want to portray Vinnie Paul as, or Slipknot. They had someone go.
And when you think about it, that's really what brings us to really what we want to finish with in music. Is there are at the same token, some of these people realize, well, we're not dead, but we're going to do farewell tours.
We gotta retire, man.
And we've got a bunch. I can't believe how many major acts we have. I don't know if he can read my chicken scratch. I'll let him talk, but if he can read it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we were just kind of off the cuff here thinking about, and I just heard about, Bob Seger. Bob Seger's going to his farewell tour. They're actually he's playing a Toledo date.
I want to see that. I do too, as a farewell.
Absolutely.
I watched on a side note. I don't think it's on Netflix anymore. They finally removed it for a long time. Did you ever get the chance to watch the Eagles documentary on Netflix?
I saw bits and pieces of it.
Oh my God, I watched that so many. It was 4 hours long, but even still, I probably watched that a dozen times.
But
I mean, it was so good. But that's how they got their start. Was from Bob Seger, was one of the people that was in the beginning. Gosh, I can't remember the guitar player's name. I hate that I can't remember, but he was one of the influential guys. So that alone come on. Bob Seger. I mean, Metallica covered him. I mean, he's got a bunch of great songs.
And then, I don't know, I think this is like their third, fourth, fifth farewell tour, but Kiss.
The Can You Believe It farewell tour.
Yeah, we got to see them, what was that, 2-3 years ago at Toledo.
Oh yeah, we were both at the same. I was with my wife, but you were with Tony.
Yep.
Yeah, we were all.
So
they're tornado drill.
They're doing a Detroit date. I'm thinking I might go to that.
I don't know. I think I got my Kiss.
Detroit
fix.
Rock
I know,
City,
but
man.
honestly. And we've talked about this before, is that in the top 5 of my concerts that I seen, the concert with Kiss was in my.
Absolutely.
I was blown away by it.
And people are like, oh, it's not Kiss, blah blah blah.
Bull. It was great. It was really good.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's out of that band, Kiss was Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. I mean, they have been running that show. You can tell who's pulling the reins in that band. And
so I've been listening to Eddie Trunk, and I guess there's this thing going on right now where there's the cruises, and there's little things where Ace Frehley has been playing with Gene Simmons at a couple live gigs, and then also on his album, and then Peter Criss has been rumored. So, and the thing is, the tour is not going to happen with them. But they're trying to tease it as if they might come off for 1 or 2 nights.
I guarantee you they'll come out for a couple gigs.
One-offs.
Oh, absolutely.
To make it a big deal.
Well, I guarantee you they'll do something like that, and
you'll still have Bruce Kulick and
Eric Singer playing drums.
Yeah. I mean, you'll still have that for sure.
But I could totally see them coming out for Detroit Rock City. Hey, we want to rock and roll all night, party every day, but we wanted to bring a little extra help to party with us.
Especially if they're in the city where they live. I don't know where each of these guys actually live, but if they're going to probably tour close to there.
I don't see why, if they're playing, obviously there's not bad blood. I mean, there's probably contracts and all that involved, but I'm sure it's within the works.
That was what Eddie Trunk had brought up. He's it's only going to be one-offs because of that literal reason. You got to fly, hotels, all these things. There's no way you're going to bring everybody. Maybe they will, but highly doubtful.
No,
it'll be a couple one-offs,
absolutely.
And that'll be it. And then
Ozzy Osbourne.
And this is news to me.
They're going. He is doing a farewell tour. The dates have been released. It did not show a Detroit. I think there was a Chicago. But I think it would definitely. I saw Ozzy back at the last Ozfest act, the last touring Ozfest. 2007. Ozzy obviously was headlining. Zach Wilde was playing guitar with him. He had his old.
Isn't he playing with him?
He's back with him now. Yes.
I think he is with us on this one.
It was Lamb of God, Static X. I got to meet Wayne. That's when I got to meet Wayne Static.
We were so close.
I got to see.
We were gonna go, man.
I saw Static X 3 times, man.
I know we were gonna go in Power Man, and
it's just those band that
I was so disappointed.
It sucks.
Gosh, it's
going back to it.
I know all these people dying. I know we were trying to not talk about that, but it's the reality of some of the situations when you're trying to see some of these guys, whether it's natural or not.
It's an honest thing. Like, man, like All That Remains. They were playing. They played Fort Wayne, and I was like, nah, I don't feel like going. And then look,
next thing you know, you can't see.
It's like, if you want to see them, go fucking see them, because nothing is guaranteed.
Yeah, towards the end, that was totally my mentality with Motorhead. I saw Motorhead.
We saw. Well, you saw him, and then I saw him with you.
I saw him twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
saw him at Mayhem.
Well, yeah, me and Andy, we went to go see like a Megadeth concert, and by the time we got there, Motorhead was like opening for them, kind of in the middle. But by the time we got there, we got like there halfway through the set, and we did see it. But when we went to Mayhem, we saw the full set, and
he just got short. He got sick shortly after that.
Yeah, he had cancer, and he didn't tell anybody, so he just kind of suffered through it until the bitter end. But again, but a lot of farewell tours going on, and we'll probably catch one of them not all of them, really, because why not if we could? So we'll move on to just a couple of video game notes. Last time we talked on the podcast, Black Ops 4 had not came out yet, and now it is out. Had plenty of chance to play Blackout, the mode or whatever, which is the Battle Royale PUBG kind of mode.
PUBG killer, man. PUBG killer.
It's the PUBG killer, man. I'm telling you. That's right.
I personally get bored with it. I don't like it. I like traditional team deathmatch. Some guys like the lone wolf, and you got the map gets smaller, this and that. But I don't know. Maybe I got to play it a little bit more. But even with PUBG, I just didn't care for it.
And that's true. And I can agree with that sentiment. The way that we had been playing PUBG before, because PUBG, I had been playing mostly solo, or showing you guys or putting you into solo matches, like you didn't play with. And even when you did play squads in PUBG, regardless of how bad the graphics and the gunplay are, you just have people that just don't talk. It is the complete opposite with Black Ops. Everybody talks. If you play in a squad, everyone's going to communicate. You put markers down. You know where you're going. The graphics are great. The guns are way better. It's that Call of Duty feel. It's not this PS2 feel that PUBG has on your Xbox One. It's an appropriate Xbox One looking and feeling and playing and sounding game. And they made it where no matter where you want to go, as soon as you jump out of the helicopter, you can go anywhere in the map. It's not like you're restricted. You can fly these zip lines right down to wherever you go. And if you're with a good roll of people, man, you can just dominate this game. It's so much more fun than PUBG. I know Fortnite, has like the magical elements and the building elements, and I don't technically get into that. I think that's more of a kids kind of thing. In my opinion, I'm more old school. But if you're just going to talk straight military shooters, that's why I call it the PUBG killer, because there's no way, if you like PUBG, if you like that at all, and you get exposed to Blackout on Black Ops, that there's no way that you can't say that is like 10 times better. There's a cymbal crash. Wait. So it's very good. I'm very happy with it. And
take a breather.
That's how much I love it.
Red Dead Redemption, I haven't played much of it. Your brother, obviously, and Jim are totally hooked to it. Your brother said he played it for 34 hours yesterday and didn't even realize it. I just anymore, man. It's an investment to buy a video game, and I don't know if I can justify paying $70 for a campaign only.
That's right. He played 34 hours in 24 hours. That's how much he loved it. There's not even 24 hours in a day, and he played 34. That's how crazy this game is. He meant to say 3 to 4. I'm just messing with you. Okay. But it is. Actually, every review that I've read, every blog, podcast, everything, it's 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. I just, personally, between, podcasting and working and music and everything else and family, I just don't have the time to sink 80, 90, 100 hours into, which is, arguably.
That was like when Mass Effect came out.
Yeah.
A 2-disc game. Are you fucking kidding me?
I played 1 and 3. I did not play 2 because 2 is very long. But, but even when I played both of those, I played them like so simplistically just to get to the end.
I just like like Halo. I mean, I think Halo's like 10 hours, 12 hours. And that to me, that's the other thing I don't like. I'm never caught on to Fallout. I did not like BioShock, and that's why I'm not really too worried about Red Dead Redemption. Is like I don't care for the whole free roam.
And I don't know how you feel. Like to me, like westerns are kind of like in a video game. It's like I like space, the futuristic. Like that's what video games are always about. Like playing the future thing. That's why I like.
Their big topic yesterday was apparently a horse's nutsack shrinks in cold elements.
Wow. That's why we're.
Ooh, I gotta buy this game now
because the horse's testicles shrink in cold air. It's like,
dude, it's so realistic. I was like, wow. Apparently, someone had a little too much fun.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to. I want to be in space in the year 10,076 or something. Yeah, I don't want to be in the past.
You seen that Conan?
Yeah. I want to be in the future. That's why I love Mass Effects. Hopefully, we'll get another one. And is that all we got? And then
Diablo. That's your
that was me. Yeah. I bought. I will comment. I bought Diablo 3 on a Nintendo Switch because I'd like to have it, handheld and portable and moving on that. But yes, to what he was saying is that my brother, oh my God, Diablo 2. That's why I almost was turned off to the series for so long because Andrew had an addiction. It was like a problem because Diablo 2 was in the dial-up days where it would tie up your telephone line. So we couldn't get phone calls into the house because Andy would be on Diablo 2 for hours and hours and hours at end. It's the only addiction in his life that he's ever had, and he knows it so much that's why he won't touch it. But I am now into Diablo 3 for Nintendo Switch. Very cool, very fun.
Your brother said he lost half his what was it, junior high or high school career to Diablo.
He did. I remember. I was there. He was stuck in the corner of the kitchen, just playing that nonstop on dial-up.
Dial-up. God, do you realize people are not going to understand?
I know they don't understand. That's what I mean. On dial-up, which meant at that time nobody could even make a phone call, and he was like, "I don't care, I'm playing Diablo now."
It's Diablo.
You've never seen that kid more crazy over anything, so Diablo got him.
Diablo
2. Diablo 3 may get me, but for the record, Diablo 2 certainly got Andrew. So.
All right. You've been dying to talk about this.
I have been.
You just been dying to talk about it. So let's talk about it.
So
apparently,
can I let you go first so that way? Because I'm not gonna be able to stop. Do you have any thoughts on Crown Jewel? On the not this is episode 25 Crown Jewel, but we're actually talking about the Crown Jewel
from a couple nights ago,
Saudi Arabia, and
as
WWE.
As far as what to say about it, I mean, obviously the old saying "money talks." Well, with all the news going on about the reporter being murdered and
which they admitted
in Saudi Arabia, and then WWE writes this deal, and I think it's just the money was too good to say no, and I think a lot of people are against it. I mean, I want to. Yeah, it was an American that got killed. But if someone offered me, hey, I'll come out of retirement for $9 million, and all you got to do is say a couple things in the mic, take a bump here and there, boom, cut you a check. And my bag's already packed, like
Right.
I think that was the big deciding factor in this. I think you said they signed a $450 million deal over 10 years.
Yes, they did.
I mean, they probably made more in this show than they do in probably, what would you say, 6 months? $45 million.
I don't know the true financials, but it's a chunk of change. It's a big amount.
I mean, and I just think it was, Vince McMahon's a businessman,
But no, I'll let you finish.
Vince McMahon, all of them, I mean, it's business is business, and I just think the money was too good. Regardless of what's going on in the media, it was, well, this is wrestling. This isn't, this is just wrestling. There's shootings, murders, all that all the time in the United States.
That's true. That's true.
We still have
not-
Monday Night Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, it's
and
not their fault. They didn't do it.
They didn't do it, and I think it's just, it is what it is. Why deem a whole country over? I mean, again, I guess a lot had to do with the president himself or whatever, the prince.
Whatever, yeah, the crown
And-
prince or.
So it's definitely a gray area, but at the end of the day, the money was too good to pass up.
So let me tell you why I do not like this. Oh, I don't even know where to begin.
All right, here.
There is so much to unpack, and I'm actually not gonna try to go crazy with it because I'd like to have a discussion and not just be this crazy rant. But the fact of the matter is that more and more, regardless of the politics or the guy getting killed or whatever, even if that wouldn't have happened, the fact is just like everybody has now. This isn't me being clever. It's how everybody feels now. Everybody knows and feels like these are glorified house shows.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just,
that's the phrase.
they're throwing names out there.
It's like, Hasabi Mabalan or whatever threw a birthday party for his kid. And, they brought out all these old guys or whatever. And then we have to watch it on the network. And it's like, look, I understand, like, you can contract people to entertain you and bands do it and all that kind of stuff. But this isn't like that. This is something that is technically a story. It's like a soap opera.
Yep.
And this is like having someone hijack, The Walking Dead. Like all of a sudden the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia says, well, I'm going to pay AMC so much money so that way I want to see this character or that character die and survive. And then they're like, okay. And then everybody has to just watch that and deal with that. That's what this is like. You're having somebody at the whim of their own income be able to decide what we take.
I want to see DX. I want to see, Kane and Undertaker as brothers. So they cook up a story and throw us in the meat grinder. No, I just wanted to say that. But they do cook up a story. They make up these stupid ass storylines. Like, what's Triple H doing out there? HBK said he's never going to come out of retirement. Again, money talks. He comes out of retirement.
Yep.
Again, they
Bald Michaels.
Yeah, bald.
I hate to say that because he's one of my favorite wrestlers, but he looks like, a white milk dud out there.
But it's just like, okay, so, I mean, was there really any belts changed or anything? Like, was there any?
So they had the Greatest Royal Rumble early as here. They had the Super SmackDown show in Australia, and now they just had Crown Jewel. There, in all three of those events, there has only been one title, quote unquote, change if you want, and that's only because Roman Reigns had to give up the belt.
Exactly.
So they had to give somebody a belt. So they gave it to, Brock Lesnar. But in terms of anything else,
Is that who got it?
Brock Lesnar got the belt from Strowman after he hit him with 6 F5s or something. It
Because it's his only move.
such a squash match, such
Really?
a house show.
Oh wow!
It's just ridiculous because this is the thing. This is my take on it. It's like, I understand that you took $500 million from Saudi Arabia. But at this point, it feels like you're cutting your nose to spite your face because you're killing your main audience. You're killing the people that watch this stuff on a regular basis that are interested in the storyline. I don't get, because it's like, it's silly enough to be a wrestling fan to believe in all this fucking fake bullshit storyline as it is, but then to have it hijacked just by somebody that's just willing to pay all this fucking money, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, who cares about the storylines? They paid us money. It's like, I feel like some kind of whore to your product to Saudi Arabia, because they're the ones that are paying you, and they're the pimp daddy, and we're the ones that gotta, be the tricks on WWE programming, and I don't like it. And I feel like everything that I've heard, oh my God, we are such a small podcast. Every other major podcast is making a huge deal about this. So WWE's got a decision to make. There's always a way out of a deal. Maybe
you might get.
Yeah, let's just say it's $45 million per pay-per-view. They've done 2. Maybe they cut out and they just say, we don't want the rest of the money. You keep your money. We'll take what. Or maybe they have to pay a fine for not getting. Who knows? But are you willing? What are you willing to
jeopardize your
do?
brand?
Exactly. Are you willing to kill the whole brand over the whims of some Saudi Arabian prince? Is that where we're at? Where, like, when did this happen? Like, this has never been a thing ever in the wrestling history. I swear to God. You can talk to old school guys. You can watch the Legends of Wrestling on WWE Network. They would never tell you that some fucking leader of some country that could dictate everything that happens in a storyline and what happens financially. It's ridiculous.
Did they try to contact Steve Austin?
Well, Austin is no, they've contacted him a bunch of times.
And he said no?
Austin's true to his word. He's like, I'm too old to do it. Like, see, the difference between Shawn Michaels and Steve Austin is that Steve Austin is bald and can't wrestle, and Shawn Michaels is bald and can wrestle.
Yeah.
And they know it. Like, I mean, when we even watched the shit show that was the and you didn't get to see it or whatever, Triple H was instantly hurt within 2 minutes of the match, of a 30-minute match. Instantly tore his entire pectoral muscle. He's sitting there like a limp. You're like, wow, this is a great match. And we're watching that for a half hour. It's a 2-on-1 handicap match. Shawn Michaels hits Kane, knocks his freaking masks off. So he's sitting there, bald Kane with fucking black rings around his eyes. And then he puts his hair back on. It's like, this is a Geritol match in a freaking retirement home. You could give 2 old guys some Viagra and see some more action than you saw in this match. And why are we, the WWE Universe, having to suffer this just for your... I'm telling you, whatever the $450 million is, over the course of 10 years of ruining your brand, that pales in comparison to the money you're going to make worldwide everywhere else. If you pander to one crowd and you were I know you don't like women's wrestling, but at the same time, they don't allow women's wrestling to be there. You're going to pander to that crowd.
Yep.
I don't know what to do for you. Like, it's almost like if they go down because of this, they deserve it, because they're going for the quick buck, not the long buck, and it ain't right.
So on a final note, I just want to say one thing. It's not news to anyone in the wrestling world that you love them, you hate them, but Roman Reigns did come out saying he was re-diagnosed with leukemia.
Yeah.
He initially had it at age 22, beat it, put it in remission, all that.
I didn't even know that.
And it came back, and he had to relinquish the belt. So I just want to end on that, I am a fan of Roman Reigns. And,
Me too.
And I, like I said, regardless of his
his real name is Joe Anoa'i.
Regardless of the storyline, I just hope he,
we pray for Joe.
So,
yeah,
other than that,
we will, but he'll be back. He's a
absolutely.
strong guy. So we know Roman Reigns will be back, and we will be back because you have just seen, can you believe it, 25 episodes of the Speak of the Devil podcast, and we will see you on episode 26.